When it comes to 2023, the media has been hit or miss, in my opinion. Stuff has been really good, and we've also gotten a lot of dog shit. Like, let's be honest, nobody's watching this shit or this shit. But yeah, so in today's video, I just want to go over maybe like 3 examples of what I thought were really good in 2023, and also 2 forms of media that I was very, very disappointed with. So yeah, without further ado, let's start talking about them. So to start off on the positive side, there has been some really good movies that came out this year. So the first one we're going to talk about is definitely the Xiamond Mutant Mayhem movie, which I thought did a phenomenal job. From the characters to the type of animation they did, it was like a really, I want to compare it to like the Garbage Pail Kids, if you guys ever seen those. It felt a lot like that vibe, and all the characters, the writing, everything blended so well together that it's up there as one of my favorite TMNT projects, because they, in my opinion, well, I think they got the characters pretty right. Some people might not like the designs. I know there was a lot of people bitching about April's design, and then the part that doesn't make sense about that is their whole complaint was that she looked quote-unquote ugly, even though it's a fucking kid. Like, but it wasn't even that. It was just the fact that everybody in the fucking movie looks ugly. Even the fucking like news reporter and shit. And it's just a style choice. Like, that's what people sometimes don't realize about movies. Like, not everything is gonna look on model like it did with the 80s cartoons and shit. But with that criticism out of the way, personally I found bad about the movie. Maybe it was a little short, but most of the animated movies this year were like an hour 30, so when it comes to those type of movies, I don't think it was that short. But it does kind of jet by after the second half, though, I will say. From the soundtrack to the animation to the writing to the comedic parts, everything about this movie was really good. And I'm so glad it did well. Considering I'm a huge TMNT fan, this is definitely a dub for the franchise, even though it kind of didn't do as well at the box office, but I would say as expectations to what I thought it was going to be. And moving on to our next project that I do want to talk about, it's Puss in Boots: The Last Switch. This movie far beyond exceeded what I thought it was going to be, because when they first announced that there was going to be a sequel to the Puss in Boots movie, which I mean I enjoyed the first one. It's just a movie you watch when there's nothing else on, but this one really felt like fucking 10 steps above the first one in every single way, from the way it looked to the soundtrack to the visuals to the animation. Everything about this movie was just a fucking huge step up, and a definitely big W for DreamWorks, because they exceeded their fucking like work, and it shows through everything, through the characters, through the story, everything about it I just thought was really good. Not to mention the villain in the movie, Death. Oh my god, the way they portrayed him and his design overall was so well done. Like, he was probably like the most intimidating DreamWorks villain, and it's not close, because he really had a presence. It was so crazy that even in the theater, oh, by the way, I should say some of these reviews will go into spoilers, so you have been warned. I should have said that in the beginning. That's my fault. At the end of the movie, he does stare into the like audience, but when he does that, the way the audio worked in the theater, the seats vibrated when he stared at the camera, and that shit threw me off. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, overall this movie was really good, and hopefully DreamWorks takes this success and puts it more into their movies with this type of style of animation. But yeah, on to the next movie. Now, when you talk about hype in a movie and waiting for the sequel, I don't think there's ever been a movie I've been excited for the sequel than Across the Spider-Verse, or as people called it beforehand, Into the Spider-Verse 2. But boy, did it fucking deliver. Man, this movie was so great. Like, and for me personally, like, Spider-Man's like, I would say Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. And this movie did his like entire character, I will say, like justice, from subtle Easter eggs to big ones that are right in your face. No matter what caliber of Spider-Man fan you are, this movie has something for you, which I found really cool. And one also cool aspect about the movie was the varying art styles that were present, like Spider-Punk having like a collage type rebellious look to him, where he wasn't exactly stable in the universe, but he still looked like he would switch from like black, white, white and like red. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think the frames per second were also varied on the characters, but I could be wrong about that. Regardless, everybody in this movie looked really solid, and you could tell a lot of work was put into this movie, especially the animators. Holy shit, they outdid themselves with this one. From the beginning to the end, the visuals in this movie were fucking insane. You could literally pause any frame of this movie and that shit could be a wallpaper. It is that crisp and that stunning to look at. Definitely the most visually best movie I saw this year, hands down. And then the story was really good too. A lot of twists, a lot of fucking twists. It was insane. It's even like thinking about the twists they had in the movie now, they're still really like mind-boggling to get around. Definitely the biggest one has to be the fact that this universe Miles wasn't even supposed to be the Spider-Man of this universe, and it came from an alternate dimension, and this Peter in this dimension was never supposed to die. And when they said that in the theaters, I was so fucking shocked. Another really good one was the fact that Miles thought he went to his own universe, but it turns out it was the alternate timeline where the spider that was supposed to bite Miles in that one didn't bite him. But just the realization really captivates that scene super well. Overall, this movie was by far one of my favorite things to come out of this year, and hopefully Beyond is really good as well. But on to the next one. Now, when it comes to my favorite projects in 2023, nothing, in my opinion, had me more hyped than the Twisted Metal show. If you saw my previous video, you'd know that it's my favorite franchise of all time. So obviously, going into this, I was hesitant, very hesitant, but I knew it was gonna be good. But what really made me nervous was the amount of hate it was getting right away from like 2 trailers, which I could rant on that on my own of how much people did not know what they were talking about, but for the sake of the video, I don't want to make it too long, so we'll skip all that. Anyway, the show handled it so well when it came to the characters. It kept most of the lore intact, added some new stuff, added stuff that made sense in my opinion, like with Agent Stone, because in the game it never really made sense why he was in the Blackfoot Asylum, because as dark as it is, what he did, a regular cop would have got away with, and that's just facts of fucking life. Like, I'm not trying to be serious, I'm not trying to be jokey, but it just happens. But the way it happens in the show makes him actually look fucking insane and why he would be admitted. But by far my favorite character was Sweet Tooth, and they fucking nailed him to a teeth perfectly. Everything about him matched how he acts in game. All the cars too, I feel like they really reference the 2012 vehicles because those are what they resemble the most. It had so many references that the casual audience won't get, but as soon as I saw them, I got so fucking giddy and happy. Even my brothers too, they were just watching it with me super hyped. Man, I fucking love this show. It was so good. Hopefully because the last episode by far was the best, and holy shit, there was so much stuff that made me like jump in excitement. Even one part I got kind of emotional on, because the reason I got emotional was that it's been over 11-12 years since we got anything new for the series, and seeing the finale, like, shit got me deep. I'm not gonna lie, that, because it's something that I've always wanted to see ever since I was small, and man, it really delivered. I hope the best for season 2 without me like getting too crazy and going on tangents of how much I like the show. On to the next one, but buckle in, because the next 2 are not positive at all. So now that we shown the 3 examples, or it might be 4 examples of what I really like this year, now we get to the part of the video where we talk about what I did not like this year. Now, a couple disclaimers beforehand. This is all my opinion, and if you liked what I'm about to talk about, then that's fine. That's completely fine. That's your opinion, just like this in this video is mine. Also, if you're expecting me to be negative in videos coming up and being super like how I'm gonna be in this video, this is not the place, because I'm not trying to do these type of videos. I'm not a negative Nancy out here. Like, no, that's just not my style of videos. But just for this one video, I'll allow it, but anything further, I'm gonna strongly avoid. But this is just a quick disclaimer, and on to the, well, it's only 2, so on to the first one. So with that, this is the Mario movie. Now, see, the only good thing I will give about this movie, and probably the next one, is that at least it looked good and on model, but that's it. The rest of the movie felt really, I don't know, it was just Cameo City basically. It was just reference after reference after reference without really a inclusive story to go with it. It was just, I just wasn't a fan of the story to begin with, like how the main thing was like the star. I feel like personally that the movie would have been better if they just followed the original games like to the teeth and followed that plotline, because what they did instead felt really underwhelming and nothing felt earned, I would say. Like everything kind of happened like situationally, nothing really felt earned, kind of like watching Superhero all over again. And I don't know, I just was very just underwhelmed by it because the story just sucked. It just wasn't good. Like Luigi is barely in the fucking movie, even though in the promo he's like shown in almost every shot like he's in the movie just as much. But after they land in the kingdom and they're in there, it's literally just Mario and Peach and Donkey Kong, and there was just a lot of stuff that was forced. Like the whole Rainbow Road Mario Kart thing felt just there just to reference Mario Kart and nothing of worth. Like that whole scene could have been taken out and they could have just did some other stuff with it. It was just there just to be a spectacle and nothing else. A spectacle with no substance, I would say. It just wasn't great. Like, and of course it had like the most predictable fucking ending ever. Everything was just, oh no, somebody's down. Oh well, we have this power now. Oh, bad guy's gone now. And happy ending, blah blah blah. It's just, I was just so underwhelmed with this movie. It's not even funny. But yeah, that's the first one. On to the next one. With this next one, man, it fucking pains me so much to put this one in the bad section, but it's the FNAF movie. Man, the level of anger and disappointment I have for this is so much of an understatement. I've been with this series since the very fucking beginning, and when the movie was first announced in, I want to say 2015 or 16, I was so fucking hyped and so ready to see how this movie would be in real life. Like, well, in real life, like in a movie setting, live action. And for years I was just waiting on it, like pretty much everybody in the fandom was. But man, if this is what I knew I was gonna get back then, holy shit, I would have told my pasto, hey, it's not worth it, bro. So I don't want to just say it's all bad. The only good thing I will say is that the animatronics were nailed perfectly. Like all of them look exactly how they would look in game to here. They were perfectly translated from video game to live action, but that's it. Now the story I felt was very, well, to put it lightly, shitty. I mean, yes, it has the same beats of a security guard working at this abandoned place. By the way, it's abandoned, because in the first game, I don't know if it's stated if it's abandoned or not, but it just doesn't make sense why you would guard an abandoned building that's for sale. Like, that alone doesn't make sense. Another part I did not like about the movie is the fact that the dream sequences took way too much fucking screen time. Like, 1 or 2, alright, but for there to be like, dude, I'm pretty sure there's like 5 fucking scenes of that, and it's like, okay, we get it, you lost your brother, like holy shit. And it's supposed to be a mystery, like, oh, who took his brother, but everybody fucking knows it was fucking William Afton, especially the way they were framing it. Speaking of him, he's barely in the movie, which I felt was such a like blow to the movie, because he's the main baddie basically, but he's only in like 2 fucking scenes, or 3 on the phone if you count that. And his character was wasted, and the fact they introduced Springtrap so fucking early made no sense at all. I feel like he works better in the games is when he's just forgotten about and nobody knows about him, and then suddenly he reappears. And don't get me started on that forced fucking I always come back line, holy shit. Shit felt like the most forced fucking line delivery ever, just because it's William Afton, but motherfucker, you haven't died yet. Oh my god. I could go on and on and on about this movie, from the fucking fort scene. Oh my god. So the animatronics, you remember the animatronics in FNAF 1, the game, right? You know how you work a security job and they're trying to fucking kill you? Now what if I told you in the movie they built a fucking fort out of chairs and tables? Yeah, that's a thing that exists. The excuse that, oh, they're kids, oh, they're trying to get the sister, or Mike's, because for some reason he has a sister now, Mike's sister to become part of them, but it's like, you know, these motherfuckers killed people in the game, right? Regardless of if they were a kid or adult, which is a stupid rule, by the way. Oh, we don't kill kids, but we'll kill adults. And then not to mention the fact that 3 of the first nights are completely wasted. For most of them, he just sleeps, and then when you think about it logically, bro, that motherfucker would have got fired if he was sleeping on the job, especially security. Using real world logic in a game where robots try to kill you doesn't make sense. But again, robots in this thing barely try to kill anybody, just the robbers. Fucking Cupcake did more damage than the actual animatronics. Fucking Foxy just took people to that shredding room. But that's what happens when you wait 8 years for a movie that is very lackluster, underwhelming. But I'm done for now, because if I keep going, I'm just gonna keep ranting about this movie, about shit I hated, shit I didn't like, because that's mostly what this movie ended up being. I'm done for now. Like, I'm done talking about this movie, because I said pretty much all I wanted to say about it and why I didn't like it, and I think that's alright. So, yeah, that's about it for the FNAF movie. And that brings us to the end of the video. And yeah, that's pretty much all of what I liked and disliked from 2023 in terms of media and TV shows. I didn't go into video games because honestly I didn't really play any new games this year, just some games I've been playing. I would say Fortnite, but Fortnite doesn't really count. Stuff like that I didn't really get into because there was no point. This was mainly about media, like movies and TV shows, so that's why those weren't covered. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed what you see, please subscribe and all that good stuff. Hope you all have a safe one, and I will see you in my next video.